In the movie Mean Girls, Regina George is quickly revealed to be the one you don't want to be. She's rich, entitled, privileged, and she rules her high school through cruelty and bullying. So when Katie comes along and decides to take her down, it's natural for us in the audience to root for her and to cheer when all of the girls Regina has marginalized and been cruel to, when they stand up to her and take her power from her. But what Katie realizes before it's all finished is that she's just stepped into Regina's position as the mean girl queen bee. There's a whole book on the psychology of high school girls' social dynamics. It's called Queen Bees and Wannabes. It's a book that inspired the Mean Girls movie. And at the end of the movie, partly because of self-realization and partly because of an unfortunate event, the girls realized that all of the things they had invested their lives in were fragile and really ultimately meaningless. You see, status is meaningless. Possessions are meaningless. Power is meaningless. Academic rank is meaningless. Pleasure and comfort are meaningless. All of these things on their own are fragile and devoid of any lasting meaning and consequence. When we pursue these things under the sun for the promise that they may offer of giving us satisfaction, purpose, and meaning for our lives, we will be left empty, bitter, and disillusioned. But there is a better way.
Little liar.
I'm sorry, I can explain. Explain how you forgot to invite us to your party?
Janice, I cannot stop this car. I have a curfew.
You know I couldn't invite you. I had to pretend to be plastic. Buddy, you're not pretending anymore. You're plastic. Cold, shiny, hard plastic.
Curfew, 1 a.m. It is now 1:10.
See? That is the thing with you plastics. You think that everybody is in love with you when actually everybody hates you. Like Aaron Samuels, for example, he broke up with Regina, and guess what? He still doesn't want you. So why are you still messing with Regina, Katie? I'll tell you why, because you are a mean girl.
At the end of the book of Ecclesiastes, Solomon wraps up his entire point. In chapter 12, verse 13, he says, "Now all has been heard, and here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil." When you're looking for that path in life that will bring you satisfaction, meaning, and purpose, remember that it's not just about what you want to do or about how much money you can make, but it's about knowing God and making him known. Solomon says, fear God and keep his commandments. See, this is the conclusion he comes to at the very end of the book. After he looks down over all of his experiences throughout his life, he's communicating to his people, and he says, fear God. Recognize who God is and who you are in relation to him, and keep his commandments. Focus your time and attention and efforts on those things that bring eternal value to the world. Spend your resources in ways that benefit others and make the love of God known to the world. And that last little bit is important too. Recognize who the true judge of the world actually is. It's not our role to sit as judge, jury, and executioner over the people around us. God is the one who will judge every act, good or evil, in this life or the next. You see, we can relax. We can be free to love the people around us well and focus on enjoying life as it was meant to be lived. There's an important point that you should understand as we wrap up this conversation. The first thing that we have to address to find lasting meaning, satisfaction, and purpose in life is our disordered relationship with God. You see, until the Samaritan woman met Jesus, she continued to return to the well that left her empty, tired, and wondering if there was more to life. The Samaritan woman met Jesus. She recognized him as the Messiah, and she accepted his offer of eternal life. And then all of this other stuff began to come into the right order as well. She found joy, meaning, purpose, and she shared it with her entire community. Now, if you're in the sound of my voice right now, wondering if there's more to life, maybe you've been tapping those empty wells of academic achievement, comfort, pleasure, work and financial security, or maybe you've been running to social activism to satisfy you, and you found that they don't satisfy your deepest needs. Are you building your entire persona, the foundation of your entire life, on something that will ultimately leave you empty-handed and disillusioned? See, Jesus offers something so much better. It's a life lived over the sun. It's a life that enables us to actually enjoy our lives to their fullest extent and gives us the chance to invest in eternal things rather than what is here one moment and gone the next. And all he asks is that you believe that he is who he says he is and accept his offer of eternal life. And now is the best time for you to talk with your leaders about this, especially if you have questions about what all of this means and what your next step might be. Feel free to ask any of your leaders, or you can contact me directly. But for now, I'll leave you with a prayer. Father, help us to run to your well of life for our satisfaction. Help us to run to you for purpose and meaning instead of the empty wells that will leave us dry. Help us to live our lives to the fullest, experiencing every good thing you have for us to discover and experience, and may we find joy in living life the way it was meant to be lived. Hey, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.